Natasha, which one did you do? There was this troop this for homeless girls in shelters. So I ordered for them.
I actually ordered from my friend's my friend's troop, but I have heard about. I think it's a troop 9,000 or 3,000.
Yeah, I ordered from them.
Hi, Ravika.
Ravika.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Nice to see your
Baby,
faces.
or probably not a baby now.
She is 1 year old.
All right.
Oh my goodness, how fair already. Wow.
Yeah, and she's
It was-
absolutely amazing. We love her very much.
Yay.
God bless you.
Thank you.
We are live on Facebook, everybody.
Yes.
And YouTube?
We're automatically on YouTube when we are on Facebook.
Okay,
That's
good.
the way Julio set it up.
I am going to eat these do-si-dos for all of you, so none of you
Turn your
gain
camera
weight.
off, please. Turn your camera off.
Yeah, that's a tease that you can't share with us.
So cruel.
Hi, Julio.
Julio.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
Uh, Making you co-host, Julio.
Wow, look at that professional background you have,
Oh,
Julio.
excellent.
If you would like it, I could share it to you. That's the background you sent me, Julio, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
that was very professional. I like that.
I'll send it to all the board members, and then maybe we could have a whole panel of.
Cool.
I rotate through like 7 Zoom backgrounds a day.
Hi, Pat. At least you weren't like that. Have you heard of the story about the attorney who was on a Zoom with the kitty filter?
Yeah, the cat. That was so cute, though.
Yeah, but how can you conduct a serious court case while you're in a?
I know.
Your face is a kit and a cat.
You get sympathy from the jury that way, Natasha. I am going to start the webinar, so the attendees will be let in now.
Okay.
Hello, everybody.
Who is that?
Pat.
Oh, hi, Pat. You just came in kind of low.
Can you hear me?
Barbara, no choking.
Can you guys hear me?
Joking.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Better, yes.
Thank you.
Your audio's a little low, but I heard you better tonight than I heard you Monday night.
Really? I have to check that.
Okay, I see John Watkins. He's from the DA's office. I'll write his
Yep.
name on the list.
Great.
Just got to get to that page.
Jeremy, are any of the police department members going to join us tonight by any
I
chance?
haven't heard from them, so I don't know.
Okay.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Beverly.
Hi, Beverly.
Hi.
That cell phone number looks familiar. I just can't recall what board member it belongs to.
It's Fred Wolf.
Hi, Fred.
Hi,
How you
Fred.
doing? I'm
I'm just going to rename.
calling in today.
We're going to rename you.
I did it already.
Please, thank you.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you.
you, Julio.
Thank you, Julio. We're all on it.
Hi, Jeremy.
Hi, Jimmy.
Hi, Jimmy.
Reed.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Seeing you, Jimmy.
Hi, Barbara.
Hola, ¿cómo está?
Not so good after hearing what happened in Georgia. I
Yes.
have request, can we have a moment of silence to remember the victims that
Sure.
we
Yeah.
So we haven't started the meeting yet, Jimmy, but I think Cesar had something in mind.
Good.
thank you.
Jeremy, I believe I can't pronounce their name, but I think this person is the liaison to Brad Lander.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna write her name.
Ms. Siddiqui. I
Yes.
believe it's Fazia.
Okay.
Anybody know how to fix the audio on Zoom?
You seem much better right now, Pat.
I
Just
do?
stay like that.
Okay.
It may be your connection. So it happens to all of us, unfortunately. But if the connection is poor, Your audio may be low.
Okay,
Oh yeah, look at them. They look great. Just gotta cut them up.
if you never hear me, just let me know.
Okay, I believe 24 is our quorum. We're 3 short of it now.
Okay. Jeremy,
Yep.
is Sylvia Aquafreda liaison, elected official liaison, or is this
I'm just trying to recall.
that per name sounds familiar?
I was trying to recall if she's a liaison or a constituent, but I know her name.
Okay.
Sherman Jackson's here. Would you please put him on the list?
He's on the list already.
All right, thank you.
I have John Watkins, Sherman Jackson, and Ms. Siddiqui on the elected
Right.
official roster.
Great.
We'll handle Q&A.
Yeah, you and I will handle Q&A. I asked Maria to look at emails. She's going to handle the roll calls, and I'll handle whatever votes come up.
Okay. Maria, do you want me to send you the attendee link in case somebody asks for it?
No, it's, if you want, yeah, you can send it to me, yeah.
Cesar, I believe we have it now.
Okay. Let's wait another minute. Maybe a couple of other board members will join and then we'll get started.
Okay.
Oh,
Hi, John.
how are you?
Oh, John Fontaine. Oh, we already have a Q&A. Hold on. Sherman Jackson is asking, can we hear him? Has anybody heard Sherman Jackson?
He can't unmute himself because he is an attendee. When he will, Sherman, you can't unmute yourself as an attendee. When it's time for you to speak, we will either make you a panelist or allow you to unmute.
Oh.
And Natasha, I believe, is going to type that back.
I forget I only had a month.
So folks, we're going to start in a minute. I'm going to mute everybody right now, right before the beginning of the meeting. Cesar, you could unmute yourself when you're ready to start.
Okay, why don't we get started? Good evening, everyone. My name is Cesar Zúñiga and I'm the chair of Community Board 7. Welcome CB7 family, welcome community. Let's get right to the Pledge of Allegiance. Does anybody want to go ahead and take the lead on that?
I got the flag.
Allegiance to
Yes.
the United States of America,
And to the republic for which it stands,
nation,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, Beverly. So let's go right to the roll call. Maria?
Okay, good evening, everyone. I will be doing roll call. Once I call your name, please unmute yourself, say present, and then mute yourself once again. Okay, Jose Alemán. Grisela Amador.
Present.
Genesis Aquino. Alexa Aviles. Alexa Aviles.
She's joining. Just give her 30 seconds.
Maria, you can get back to her.
Yeah.
Okay. Nicholas Zadian.
Present.
Joan Body.
Here.
Stacy Boyd. Gladys Bruno. Julixa Camposano.
Present.
Joseph Canale.
Present.
Danny Chen. Danny Chen. Justin Collins.
Here.
Beatrice DeSapio.
Present.
David Estrada.
Here.
Cynthia Felix.
Here. Hello, everyone.
Hello. John Fontillis.
Here on Fifth Avenue.
Kin Fung.
Yeah.
John Garcia.
Here.
Anthony Giglio.
Here. Hi, everyone.
Cynthia Gonzalez. Cynthia Gonzalez. Hector Gonzalez. Kenny Guan. Zachary Jacy. John Johnston.
Here.
Beverly Kleinman.
Here.
Waco. Barbara Lee.
Present.
Christina Lem. Jinghua Lee.
Present.
Paul Mack. Antoinette Martinez.
Present.
Aurelis Martinez. Marilyn Melman.
Present.
Dan Murphy.
Here.
Gloria Rodriguez Navoa. Julio Pena.
Here.
Rovika Roskinshan.
Present.
Karen Rolnick.
Here.
Pat Ruiz.
Here.
Sam Sierra. Brian Slater.
Here.
Victor Swinton. Cindy Vanderbosch. Catherine Walsh. Fred Wolf. Cesar-
Present.
Okay,
Present.
got you. Cesar Zuniga.
Present.
Alexa Aviles.
Presente.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you, Maria. So again,
You have
welcome.
a quorum.
Thank you, Jeremy. Again, welcome everyone. You know, before we gavel in officially, I just want us to take a moment, maybe a minute of silence. This has actually been a pretty tough year, and it's actually been 1 year since we had to postpone this meeting last year due to the pandemic. And in that year, we lost family, we've lost friends, we've lost community members. And most recently, less than 24 hours ago, we lost a whole bunch of innocent people down in Georgia due to some horrible violence. And so I just wanted us to maybe just have a minute of silence to reflect on all of the loss we've had as a community. So yeah, let's do that for a minute. Okay, thank you, everyone. And you know, I think we're all looking forward to better days ahead. So with that, I'd like to officially call this meeting to order. And let's get right back to the agenda. So let's go to the item 4, adoption of the agenda. Are there any amendments or anything else to add? Any revisions to the agenda? Otherwise, so I hear a motion from Pat. Do I have a second from Julio?
Seconded.
Okay. Any objections? Hearing none. So moved. Okay, and let's go to item 5, adoption of the minutes of the board meeting of February 17, 2021.
Motion to adopt.
Is there a second?
So seconded.
Okay, any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you. Next is public comment. Jeremy, Maria, do we have any speakers? And please just remind folks of the protocol.
So folks, if you are speaking tonight in public comment, the first one is about items that are on the agenda. We have, I believe, one person who signed up. I see some hands up. 2 of them, however, are from our elected officials reps. I will call on them and ask them if they have now one of them, if they have a public comment or if this is as they're being a rep, if they would wait until that time. So Sherman Jackson, you could unmute yourself. Are you trying to speak during public comment?
Negative, Jeremy. Just have my talking points, and when the time's appropriate, I'll share those with the board members.
We'll call you at that time. Thank you. Teresa Colon, do you have an item? Are you speaking on an item that's on the agenda this evening? You could unmute yourself. Teresa Colon? I'm going to ask you to unmute.
Unmute. Negative, negative.
Okay, so then we will call you during the second public comment period. Is that all right?
Yes.
Okay, so please, I'm going to put your hand down. Please put your hand up again later and we'll call on you. Or you just put your own hand down. So folks, Eli, I'm guessing you want to speak during the appropriate elected officials time period. I will ask you to wait until then as well. So I don't see any additional hands that are about items on the agenda. Stays on.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So let's go right to the committee reports. Let's start with transportation, since that one is one that requires a vote. So I understand Zachary is running late. So Julio, did you wanna take the lead on giving the report and the resolution?
Sure. I think Joan is gonna start off, and I will assist if needed.
Joan, go right ahead.
You're muted, Joan.
Sorry about that. There is a motion that Zach was going to read. Now I don't have it because Zach was going to read it. Do you have it, Jeremy? The motion?
I do. I could find it. Would you like me to read it?
Yes, please.
Okay, so give me 1 minute. I'll find it.
I'll give a brief report. Let me just get my notes.
I also have it, and if you'd like, I can put it up on the screen so it's easier for folks to see. If that's all
Julio,
right.
why don't you put it on the screen and then I'll just read it from the screen rather than me scrolling through my email.
Sounds like a plan.
Great. Joan, do you want to give the report before I read this, or do you want me to read this first?
No, I'll give it'll be brief.
Okay.
DOT gave a presentation last Monday night regarding the asphalt plant on Hamilton Avenue that is in decay. It was built in 1998, but they say because of the Gowanus runoffs, the building has been kind of destroyed. They're going to replace the roof, There's brickwork that needs to be replaced, doors that need to be replaced. They're not demolishing the building, but they're going to rehabilitate it completely. That's about it. If there's any questions, we'll be glad to try to answer them. Anybody have questions? Jeremy, can you see anybody?
Sorry, I don't have that screen up. Give me one moment. I don't see any board members with hands up right now. Nope, there's one now. Catherine Walsh, you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I missed the meeting, the transportation meeting, and I just wanted to ask Joan as the representative that's here. Like I see that you've put in this context around DOT and transportation and sort of overall goals. But you're still saying that we're supporting this?
Yes, we are.
Project? Okay. Is there any more context that you can give on how everyone landed on that? On the why?
The committee voted in favor of sending a letter of support.
It was unanimous. I believe it was 7-0.
Yes, hey, sorry, I'm here. This is Zach speaking. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you, Zach.
Okay.
Sorry, yes, Jeremy, you're right, it was unanimous. And if you, the motion that Joan said, there's no reason to punish, to not do this. It's going to fall down under its own weight. And so it would be like cut off our face. Things we'd like the DOT to take care of, but that doesn't mean that all work should stop. And that was the opinion of the entire committee.
So it sounds like it was the 7 people who went to the meeting and voted on it, of the committee. So was there any indication from them in terms of
No, that's not what it sounds like. It was the seven votes were recorded from the 7 committee members, but there were other people who supported the motion that were at the meeting as well.
Okay. Could you let people know if we don't approve this, if we don't say yes, like what does that mean?
Nothing. They're going to do it anyway. Based on our previous, this is a project that needs to be done. This roof is leaking. This is the asphalt plant that at least Brooklyn relies on, to our knowledge, and might be a great part of New York City. So this work is going to go on. So that's what would happen.
Okay, I would have a friendly amendment, but it looks like there's some other questions that are coming in, so I don't want to overcrowd. I see Barbara has her hand up.
So Barbara, you could unmute yourself now. Barbara put her hand down. Perhaps she's.
No, I'm speaking. I just turned it off. Hi. I just wanted to find out if they're going to send a proposal for safety measures in the area, because depending where the wind blows, it will blow like dust or whatever over a residential area. So I just wanted to make sure everybody's going to be safe when this happens. No, nobody has anything to say to me. Okay, I guess that's it.
There are no houses down there. The asphalt plant is right next door, right next to the Department of Sanitation's transfer.
I know where it is. I live on 24th and 4th Avenue, and like I said, depending where the wind blows, it will blow over to a residential area. Between 3rd Avenue and 4th Avenue are residential areas.
There was. Are you talking about debris from the construction or debris from the plant in general?
Yeah, from both.
What? The plant or construction?
From the plant. You had to replace the roof and stuff, and there's stuff in there.
Right. I mean, I don't think as the work was laid out, they're not just going to have an open, not going to rip the entire roof off and have just an open structure. It's going to be replaced in pieces. So it's going to, the plant's going to continue to operate.
Barbara, I believe Joan asked specifically about asbestos, and the roof or the building was built in 1998. So they said no asbestos should have been used in that building.
Okay.
But they are testing the insulation, because they do have to remove the insulation, and they're sending it out to be tested just in case.
All right. Thank you.
There are a couple more hands up. I see Pat Ruiz next. Pat, you could
I already did.
yeah.
Um,
Yes.
Mike, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My question is, considering that they were not aware of some of the things that we were waiting for, and I believe they also were not aware about the request that Sarah from NYU Lutheran made about the other project that's happening at the same time and the traffic, can we count on them to get back to us with follow-up on those concerns? At least saying we communicated with whomever?
May I answer that?
Yes, please.
Okay. So Pat, this was a project manager for this specific project. It's not somebody from, say, the commissioner's office who would know about various DOT projects. So I wouldn't rely on them specifically for answers about that. However, I did reach out the next day to our liaison from the borough president, from the borough commissioner's office, about getting answers on some of the various things that we have asked about. I told them what went on at the meeting and what some of the discussion was about.
I did ask them to send Jeremy and Natasha the presentation, which they have not. If they had sent the presentation, we would have put it on the screen for you guys to see, but unfortunately they have not. Natasha reached out to them again today, and they haven't gotten back to her. What can I say?
You could, however, view the presentation in our own YouTube recording, but they should make it available to us as well, so we could send it to each of you individually.
I know Marilyn Melman is also waving her physical hand.
All right, well, we still have a couple of people who actually raised their hand with the platform. So David, and then Nick, and then Marilyn.
I just want to add some context about the additional text in the letter. The discussion with the committee ranged into safety plans for pedestrians and bicycles on Hamilton Ave at the construction site itself, and a request for them to coordinate with the Brooklyn Greenway project that's moving through the same zone. The time frame for starting this project is pretty far out, but the time span of the project once it starts is also very long. So there were two themes that came up around like longstanding wants from DOT that we don't get as a community board. One was general safety on places like 3rd Avenue and just responsiveness to that emergency, but also just, arriving with explicit safety plans around these construction zones where it always seems to feel like it's an afterthought or, only arrives after we ask for it several times. So that's the origin of us saying, well, the building shouldn't have a roof with rain coming in on DOT workers while they're sitting at their desks, so the project should go forward. But hey, every opportunity is one to say we've got these longstanding needs that are just not being recognized by DOT in a significant way.
Thank you, David, Nick, Marilyn, and then Johnston.
So for everyone's benefit, whenever you're going to be filing a project with the City of New York, they're required to produce what is known as a site plan, which dictates some of the safety measures that they're going to be taking on site, which also includes things like dust mitigation, things of that nature. So for Barbara's concerns, they will have to file something with the city, which is then in public domain if anyone is interested to see how they're planning on handling that. Secondly, just to state very clearly what they are planning to do, the building is not falling down on itself. They're simply repointing some brick, which is something that is very commonly done for a lot of these types of buildings that are seeing some degradation in the mortar. It's not like it's falling down. Yes, the work should be done. I'm in full agreement that it should get done, only because, when you factor in roof leaks, generally structures degrade much more rapidly. However, it's not like this is going to be an imminent collapse risk or something of that nature. So I'll leave it at that just to add additional clarity to what was discussed.
Okay, Marilyn?
Marilyn, please unmute yourself.
Unmute, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, you hear me? Can you hear me, Jeremy?
Yes, we can.
Okay, this might sound silly, but I don't understand. You say this building was built in 1998. I mean, 25 years ago, and already the whole roof is falling in. I mean, didn't they take that into account? You said the chemicals from the BQE and all that affecting the structure of the building. It's not like it's a building that's 100 years old. I mean, I don't know why it's falling apart. Or just the roof, I guess. I don't know. Anybody answer that?
Yeah. Generally speaking, in terms of roof membranes and also in mortar, car pollutants basically will eat mortar very, very rapidly. So that's why they're having to do the repointing. In terms of the roof membrane, whenever you have that runoff from the highway, whether it be road salt or, anything else that might be accumulating, that will also destroy roof membranes, which are typically made of plastics, depending upon which one was used originally. And so in the meeting, it was discussed about what they were going to do to try to protect the brick specifically, and what they're going to do with the roof to try to make it so this is not another issue in another 20 years from now.
Okay.
Okay, John, and then Katie. And just before John, is there a question on the table? Has it been called, or we're still just asking questions of the committee?
It's still discussion, I think.
Okay. So go ahead, John, and then Katie.
I'm for the rebuilding this plant, but my one question is, I just pulled up an article.
What are you talking about? I am not a
This
meeting.
plant was rebuilt in 2014 for $25 million. Where 7 years later, it has to be rebuilt or at least repaired like this. What was the city doing? It's just a comment. We should just move on and move everything, go forward. It has to be done, but the city is really wasting money.
Thank you, John. Katie?
I just want to, we heard from Joan that we don't have the full presentation, that we could go and, recap and listen to a YouTube, but I would propose that we get that presentation before we vote on it. And so actually, instead of proposing a friendly amendment, that's, I don't know how to explain it technically, but basically, I don't feel like we have enough information as a community board because those materials were not sent outside of the one YouTube. So I don't think that we're being provided with the amount of information that we should have from the project promoters. And for that reason, I would propose that we can't come to a vote on it.
Zach, you want to take this?
I don't think Zach is.
Sorry, yes, sorry, I'm at work. Yeah, that's, I mean, so you're proposing that we table this?
Yes, I'm proposing that we table it, and then the follow-up actions are that we get the presentation from them that was
the presentation
requested.
was given on Monday night, so it was.
So Zach, what I'm asking for is that this proposal is tabled until we get not what you guys asked for in terms of the follow-up information. So that's my request.
But that, I mean, I'm just saying that the presentation was made on Monday night. So there was, but that's this is, I don't know what you want from me. You want to propose a motion and judge, you can vote on a motion. And
So
got nothing to do with me.
Yeah, of course, the clarity and discussion point that I'm pulling out is that what I heard from Joan was that we requested the slides and the materials that they provided, and we don't have those. And Natasha followed up, Jeremy followed up. The only thing we have is this like YouTube recording, right? So what I'm saying is let's get this presentation from them and then not vote on it tonight. I hope that that's clear. I don't know if Cesar.
Right, but this is just nothing. I mean, this is nothing new or out of the ordinary. We don't get a presentation 2 days later or a month later. I mean, we're always calling up and asking for PDFs to be sent our way from DOT. So I just don't see it as a huge problem, but whatever motion you want to present, fine.
So, okay, Julio, help me out here. So there's
If I could say something.
Sure, go ahead.
This really is not any project that is going to harm our community in any way. If anything, it's going to make Third Avenue look a little nicer because the building will be in good condition. It'll look better. So personally, I will not accept changing the motion as it is written right now. That's my place. That's my position.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Joan. So Katie made a motion to table. It's not changing the motion. It's just tabling the motion presented. It
No,
requires
I
a second.
I don't agree that we should table the motion. I feel that we should go forward with the motion as it is.
That's totally fine,
And
Joan. That's totally fine, Joan. All I'm saying is that Katie made a motion to table. It requires a
Did
second.
she make the motion? Did she make the motion? I never heard the motion. I didn't hear the motion.
So I'm making a motion to table this resolution, if I've said it the right precise way.
Sure. Okay. So
okay, it requires a second, and then it needs to be voted on. And if it passes, then it gets tabled. And if it doesn't, then we move to the motion that came out of the committee.
So is there a second?
Can I ask a question? Is there an urgency around passing the resolution right now? And does it impact any particular timing for the project?
Great question. Can someone answer that? Zach or Joan?
No, have no clue on that one.
The idea is they want to move forward to contract.
Right. They had requested that
we could delay it.
Right. They had we put this meeting on we were going to put in next month's meeting before this month's meeting. That was the request from DOT.
I'm sorry, Zach, I could not hear you because it broke up in the middle of what you were saying. Can you repeat that?
They had I was just reiterating what Jeremy had said, that they had asked that we have this committee meeting before this month's meeting. So that's the information we got, and we would assume that there is a time constraint, and then Jeremy said because they want to go to contract.
Okay, so there's a motion on the table to table this, to send it back. Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Okay.
Hi, I also have my hand raised. I have a quick question.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Antoinette. Sorry, didn't see you.
Zach, you had mentioned that even if a vote wasn't required for this, they would move forward with the project. Can you just give a little bit of information as to why we're voting, why a vote is needed?
I can't give information as to why a vote's needed. I was simply saying that because our experience with the DOT over the last 4 years or 5 years is that they have been trying to eliminate us from every possible thing that they can. We no longer have anything to do with speed bumps. There's many initiatives that they just go ahead and do without asking for the board's approval. So trying to use this opportunity to present this letter that state is just a way to stay relevant. They
So
could very well just turn around and do the work without a care from us, based on what's happened in the last 5 years.
Okay, so just so I can understand a little bit, is this vote more for building a relationship with DOT as opposed to?
No, it's just an opportunity to vote on a presentation that they made, asking for our approval for this construction project and allowing us to voice our concerns for things we have not received from the DOT, and taking this opportunity to maybe still have some leverage. That's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so there was a motion, there was a second. Let's vote on the motion that's been called and then see where we are there.
The motion, to clarify, is the motion to table the motion from the Transportation Committee.
That's my understanding. Katie, is that what you're proposing?
It was a motion to table, yes.
So a motion to table the motion that came out of committee. There was a second, and so now let's do a roll call vote. Voting yes would table the motion. Voting no would require us to move on to the motion that came out of committee. Is that correct, Julio?
Yes.
That's correct.
Okay, so let's.
I'm gonna call the roll for this on the motion to table. Board members, when I call your name, please unmute yourself, cast your vote, and then mute yourself again. Jose Alaman. Grizel Amador. Genesis Aquino. Alexa Aviles.
Yes.
Nicholas Azadian.
Jeremy,
Azadian? I'm
yes.
sorry?
This is Genesis, yes.
Genesis, okay. Nick? Maybe he has a bad connection now. Joan Body.
No.
Stacy Boyd.
No.
Gladys Bruno. Jalixa Camposano.
No.
Joseph. Jalixa?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry. I was trying to click and it wasn't going.
No problem.
But I'm
What was
voting
your
no.
vote?
No.
Thank you. Joseph Canale?
No.
Denny Chen?
No.
Justin Collins?
No.
Beatrice DeSapio? B? Unmute yourself. Okay. Didn't hear you if you voted. David Estrada?
No.
Folks, if I didn't hear you and I know you were in before, I'm going to call you again in a second round. Cynthia Felix?
No.
John Fontillis?
Yes.
Ken Fung?
No.
John Garcia?
No.
Anthony Gilio?
No.
Cynthia Gonzalez?
Yes.
Hector Gonzalez? Kenny Guan?
Yes.
Zachary Jacy?
No.
John Johnston?
No.
Beverly Kleinman?
No.
Wyco? Barbara Lee,
Yes.
Christina Lem.
Sure,
I'm sorry, what was the vote?
sure, yes.
Yes. Jimmy Lee,
No.
Paul Mack,
Abstain?
Antoinette Martinez,
Yes.
Arelis Martinez, Marilyn Melman,
No.
Dan Murphy,
No.
Gloria Rodriguez Navoa, Gloria Rodriguez Navoa, Julio Pena,
Yes.
Robika Raj Kishan,
Yes.
Karen Rolnick,
No.
Patricia Ruiz.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, once again, Pat.
Yes.
Sam Sierra, Brian Slater,
Yes.
Victor Swinton,
No.
Cindy Vandenbosch, Catherine Walsh,
Yes.
Fred Wolf,
No. No.
Cesar Zuniga,
Sorry about, yes.
there are a few people I know we missed. I'm gonna go around again just to get them. Jose Alaman, Grisel Amador,
Yes.
Nicholas Azadian, Beatrice DeSapio,
She was here a second ago.
We can't hear you. You're muted.
No.
thank you. Wyco, Arelis Martinez, Sam Sierra, Gloria Rodriguez Navoa, Cindy Vandenbosch.
Hey, but I said yes before.
Oh, we didn't hear you before. Got you now.
Sorry.
And that was
No.
Gloria.
Oh, that was Gloria.
That was Gloria.
I thought that was Cindy. Thank you. Okay, so that was 16. Please say, I'm not looking at it, so please say your name when that occurs. I have 16 yeses, 21 noes, 1 abstention. The motion to table does not carry.
Okay, thank you all. And so now let's go back to the original motion. Since, so my understanding that it was voted on unanimously from committee, so it doesn't need a second. Is that correct, Julio?
Correct.
Okay, so let's do a roll call vote on this resolution.
Board members, when I call your name, please unmute yourself and cast your vote and then mute yourself again. I'm going to call the roll. Jose Alaman. Grisel Amador.
Yes.
Hannah Sisakino.
Yes.
Alexa Aviles.
Yes, sorry about that.
No problem. Nicholas Azadian. Joan Body.
Yes.
Stacy Boyd.
Yes.
Gladys Bruno. Jalixa Camposano.
Yes.
Joseph Canali.
Yes.
Whoever is texting me, please stop right now. Denny Chen.
Yes.
Justin Collins.
Yes.
Beatrice DeSapio.
Yes.
David Estrada.
Yes.
Cynthia Felix.
Yes.
John Fontillis.
Yes.
Ken Fung.
Yes.
John Garcia. Yes.
I,
Anthony Gilio,
Yes.
Cynthia Gonzalez,
Yes.
Hector Gonzalez, Kenny Guan, Kenny? Okay, Kenny, can you unmute yourself?
Yes.
Thank you. Zachary Jacy,
Yes.
John Johnston,
Yes.
Beverly Kleinman,
Yes.
Wyco, Barbara Lee,
Yes.
Christina Lem,
Yes.
Jimmy Lee,
Yes.
Paul Mack,
Yes.
Antoinette Martinez,
Yes.
Arelis Martinez, Marilyn Melman. Marilyn,
Yes. You hear
thank
me?
you. Dan Murphy,
Yes.
Gloria Rodriguez Novoa,
Yes.
Julio Pena,
Yes.
Rovika Rajkishan,
Yes.
Karen Rolnick,
Yes.
Patricia Ruiz,
Yes.
Sam Sierra, Brian Slater,
Yes.
Victor Swinton,
Yes.
Cindy Vanden Bosch, Catherine Walsh,
Yes, I guess. Yes.
Fred Wolf. Fred,
Yes.
unmute yourself. I'm sorry, what was the
Yes.
vote? Thank you.
Yes.
Cesar Zuniga,
Yes.
I have 38 yeses, 0 nos, 0 abstentions. The motion carries.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Zach and committee. Okay, let's continue to move forward. Bylaws committee, no vote is required. So I'm just going to refer you all to the report that you should have received in your board packet. Personnel internal budget committee, no vote required. So I'll refer you to the report that was included in the packet. Public safety and homelessness issues, nope. I'm sorry, did I hear someone? Okay. That's also a committee that doesn't require a vote, so I'm going to refer you to the report. Health and Mental Health Committee met as well, no vote required, and I will refer you to the report that was submitted.
Seth, I think Karen wants to make a comment.
Yes, yeah, Karen. So yes, absolutely. You just want to do a readout of the budget. Go ahead.
No, actually,
Oh, sorry.
actually, we remember we had discussed that I would talk about some pertinent topics about the homelessness situation.
My apologies. Go right ahead.
This
Absolutely.
will take about 5 minutes. It shouldn't take too long, but there's a lot going on in this area, and I thought it was important to bring it to the board to just bring everyone up to snuff on what's going on. So there's been a huge increase in community complaints of crime, threats, and quality of life issues since the start of the pandemic. And these have come from all across our community. The complaints about crime and safety are valid and they keep coming. So we held a joint safety and homelessness committee on February 24th to hear from constituents about the issues. And you received several documents in the meeting packet that pertain to this meeting. One was BKCB7 Q&A's final, which has DHS responses to Jeremy's questions that he posed ahead of time, and it's got a lot of details in it. There's a code of conduct PDF, which is the standard agreement that DHS requires all shelter residents to sign. There's a sleep in Gowanus program that DHS also provided, and that's self-explanatory. It's just about the Gowanus shelter, and the minutes were sent separately. But I would just want to bring everyone up to the status of the situation because there are now 7 hotel shelters between 39th and 22nd Streets on or near 4th Avenue. The 72nd Precinct reported 39 911 calls for just one of those shelters in 1 month between January 25th and February 24th. And I don't know the capacity of all the hotels, but if the L Hotel, I know the L Hotel holds 90. So if the others are of similar size, that would mean there are now 630 homeless in hotels within less than a 1 mile stretch along 4th Avenue. And that's just the hotel shelters. The Wynn Family Shelter on 4th Avenue and 16th Street has 105 shelter units and 25 apartments. And if each family has only 2 members, that would bring the total homeless population in this roughly 1 mile stretch along 4th Avenue to at least 898, but probably higher. And there's also a second, as we all know, there's a second Wynn shelter slated to be open soon next door. So I don't know the exact population of the blocks there, but the area is a mixed use area with residents interspersed with commercial buildings. And most of the residential buildings are small 1, 2, or 3 family homes. So the point I'm making is that the ratio of homeless to the not homeless population is way out of whack. And we have a situation where a very small community is being asked to absorb a large population of homeless with all their attendant needs. And this is an overwhelming task for the people living in that small neighborhood. In addition to that, 3 of these 7 hotel shelters are called de-density sites, meaning that they were opened as shelters in response to the pandemic and presumably will be closed when the congregate shelters are deemed safe. And one would think that would happen when vaccines are made available to shelter residents, which is already in progress. However, DHS would only give 2023 as a general goal of closing all the hotel shelters, and they would not provide information as to what would happen if residents refused to be vaccinated. Do they stay in the hotels or they return to their previous shelters? And we are also, we're also very concerned that the hotel shelters do provide a referral for social services, but these services are not provided on site. So in the next few days, I'm going to set up another homelessness committee meeting to discuss our options. There's a lot to unravel here. It's a complex problem that crosses over into numerous committee areas, including safety, housing, and mental health. And it's too small for my little tiny committee to handle alone. So I'm hoping that you all attend and come with your ideas and feedbacks and thoughts, because like I said, it's a lot to unpack. And I'll send out an agenda with topics well ahead of time so board members can start assembling their thoughts. And again, I urge you to attend the next meeting.
Thank you, Karen. Appreciate that.
Oh, and the budget. There were no changes in the budget. There were no additions or subtractions. So the budget is the same as it was last month with $1,209 in the account available.
1,200?
12,000, 12, no, 1,200, wait, 12,009. I can't read my own writing.
Thank you.
There's one hand up.
Yes, Antoinette?
Yeah, I just have a question for Karen regarding the stats that she had mentioned during her presentation right now. I was just wondering if for the 911 calls, if there was like a little bit more information we could have, like the denominator, that way we can have more of a holistic view of the types of calls that are coming in and how many are coming in as a whole, to break it down. And then also you had estimated about 900 folks. I was just wondering if there could be a way to get a little bit more of a accurate estimate directly from DHS.
Those are both great questions. The first one, the statistics on the 311 calls was provided during the meeting by Captain Castro, and he didn't have the specific breakdown, but he said it ran the gamut from simple drinking on the sidewalk to assault in progress. And, he actually called me and talked to me for quite some time after the meeting. They're concerned about it, but they don't really have the manpower to constantly be sending people to address this situation. So that's definitely something we need to talk about, how we're going to approach that. And the other question was, about asking DHS for statistics on I've asked twice.
Okay, yeah, it just seems like I'm not sure how you came out with the 900. It seemed like you were going by a rough estimate.
Very rough
right.
estimate. And I happen to know that the L Hotel holds 90, I think I said 90 or 99. And I just said, well, if that one, they all look roughly the same size. So if you take that and you multiply it by 7, the 7 shelters.
Yeah, just want us to be cognizant of the numbers, and where they're coming from, and how they're being estimated. And then also you mentioned there were 31, I thought you mentioned before 911 calls. Those were 311 calls?
39 911 calls.
Okay, and do you know if that's more, if that's like a higher rate than what's usually projected around this time, around that block?
Castro said it's significantly higher, and it's been a drag on his police force, that they're having a struggle to keep up with it.
Okay, thank you, Karen.
Okay.
Cynthia also wants to speak.
Cynthia.
Oh, Cynthia's.
Yes, I'm assuming that it's Cynthia Gonzalez, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. My question is, in the meeting, people reported that they were threatened. Their lives, their dog, whatever, Is there anything being done about these types of threats? Because in the meeting, it didn't seem like, if somebody threatened my life, my dog, my children, what is the police doing about this?
Well, that particular threat, the DHS did take that, they knew who the perpetrator was, and they removed that perpetrator from the shelter. And that was what was done about that. Yeah, it's very upsetting. It's got to be addressed.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Cynthia Felix, I know you had your hand up. Did you want to, because you were.
Yeah, I just want to add that we did ask for more statistics, Antoinette, and we also asked for more transparency from both DHS and the shelter in question that was there at the meeting, so that they will also be more available to the community and put up signage and different types of things. And I think that was a big issue, having statistics available that made sense and came from a good source, a traceable source like you asked. And we also asked in terms of not only 911, but also what's some 311 complaints. Can we keep a tally of them and need better statistics? I do want to say that the neighbors that spoke, there was a lot of passion, and they weren't against the homeless shelters. They were sympathetic to those who have lost their homes, but they wanted to be safe. And we wanted to make sure that the needs were being met of the people that are in the shelter, but also that the community was safe. And I think that was why it was a very emotional meeting, because no one was saying, hey, not in my backyard, but was saying, can we have a safe place where we could all live? And they weren't transparent with some things that we asked, like if the shelter changes over, or if someone doesn't want a vaccine, what happens? And there was a lot of answers that they would get back to us. And unfortunately, they have not gotten back to us at all. So as soon as they do, we will get more information to everyone.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone. We are going to have to move forward.
Okay.
I think the other, just one comment that I observed was that I think there was a general sense in the meeting that those two things are not mutually exclusive, the public safety aspects as well as the willingness and the intentionality around helping folks who are less fortunate in these homeless shelters. Okay, so let's move forward. Oh, wait, there's some hands up. Hold on. I'm sorry, I didn't see Antoinette and then Gloria.
Hi, I just had one quick question for anyone on the board who might know this. Do we know if there's any other neighborhood in New York City that has about the same number of homeless shelters in the community? And have there?
We've asked that subject has come up with DHS, and they refer us to 34th Street in the city in Manhattan that has more. There are neighborhoods that have a lot of shelters, but I think most of those neighborhoods also have more population. So it's not as overwhelming.
Yeah.
Right, I was just curious if there was a way to connect with those community boards to find out what initiatives they're doing and how they're partnering with other community services.
Yeah, I mean, one of that is a great idea, and it's definitely going to be on the agenda of the next meeting. I want to make a plan of action and see if I can get people to volunteer to do different things. But you know, DHS also has their own police force, which, you know, I tried to ask the status of the police force because the Daily News has reported that there's, you know, people being rearranged and removed and taken, and it's hard to say what's even going on with that police force. But, you know, or do we even want to respond with police? Or do we want to respond with social workers? There's a lot to unpack and unravel. It's a very complicated issue.
Okay, thank you. Gloria, did you have a question for Karen?
I'm trying to and video. Okay, you hear me? Two questions. One, we've had a problem with this pre-COVID. So of course, COVID to the
I'm sorry, Gloria, you're really
breaking up tremendously. So yeah, we're not able to understand what you're saying.
Could you send me an email to?
Or can you just put it? Yeah, just send
and
it.
I'll answer the email.
Perfect. Thanks. Perfect.
Thank you. Okay. So that's it for the reports. Let's go. We have a second roll call. So can I ask Maria to do the next roll call, please?
Okay, so I will call those board members that weren't present previously. Please unmute yourself and then mute yourself once again. Thank you. Okay, Jose Aleman. Genesis Aquino. Genesis Aquino. Stacy Boyd.
Here.
Gladys Bruno. Denny Chen.
Yes.
Okay. Cynthia Gonzalez.
Present.
Hector Gonzalez. Kenny Guan. Zachary JC.
I'm here. Kenny Guan here.
And Zach?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Waco.
Yes.
Christina Lem.
I'm here.
Paul Mack.
Here.
Arelis Martinez. Gloria Rodriguez Navarro.
Here. Here.
Gotcha. Sam Sierra.
Present. Hi, everyone.
Victor Swinton.
Present.
Cindy Vanderbosch. Catherine Walsh.
Here.
Okay, that's it.
Tony Fong. I'm King Fong.
King Fong. I have you, yes.
Okay, thanks.
You got me, Kenny Guan?
Yes, I have you also.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so we're at elected officials and their reps. Jeremy, do we have a list?
Yes, we do. Let me just look at the list on the Google Docs. The first one that it's taking a moment to load. First one we have is John Watkins from the DA's office. So I'm going to have to navigate back and forth. I'm going to ask Natasha to read the names, and I will unmute folks.
Okay, John Watkins, the floor is yours.
Well, I have to unmute him. Give me one moment.
All right.
John, you could unmute yourself now.
All right, great.
Good.
Let's see here. Just trying to get the, all right, I was trying to get my video on, but anyway, good evening, everyone. It's John Watkins from the DA's office, and DA sends his well wishes. A couple of things, in light of the recent tragedies with shootings down in Georgia with the Asian community. The DA and his team is very concerned about that, especially as it pertains to Brooklyn. And he wants you to know that in conjunction with our law enforcement partners, that he and others in the law enforcement community, as well as on the state side, such as the Attorney General, are doing their best to ensure the protection of our communities at this time, especially our Asian communities, as well as others that are the recipients of these horrendous attacks. The only other thing is that I always try to ask people to get to our website. That's brooklyndA.org. I was on it recently trying to find ways that people can better get information more pertinent to the community. If you go on our website and there's a drop-down menu, if you click on that and it says communities, you'll see the latest press releases from the DA's office that span over the past several months. Most weeks there are important press releases that the DA releases announcing the results of the prosecutions that the agency has been taking against offenders of crime in our community. And so, I would encourage people to definitely go there and to see the work of DA Gonzalez and his team. They work very hard, and oftentimes, things, because of the short news cycles, things that appear in the press go away pretty rapidly. But please know that the work is ongoing, and the DA is concerned about the safety of everyone in the community. The only other thing is DA Gonzalez will have a women's history event coming up virtually later this month. Plans are still being completed on that, but I will forward the details to the CB7 office so that it can be posted on the website. That's all I have for right now. Apologies that I didn't click on the video portion. I couldn't find it on my smartphone. Thank you.
Sorry, I have a question for John. Is that okay to ask?
Go ahead, Jimmy.
Yes, hi, John. So thank you for coming to today's meeting. So
yes.
I just have a question regarding, DA's, incoming actions, action plans in regarding to a rising in violence against, Asian American communities nationwide. So given what happened in Georgia, so will DA, your office, partner with, state attorney's office, to devote more resources, especially on the hate crime unit, because they are, providing more language support and also providing more manpower to investigate, because a lot of cases, even though there has been so many hate crime against Asian American community, but few has been charged as hate crime or classified as hate crime. So, I'm just want to hear more from your office. Do you have any plan, to move forward and then bring those, perpetrators to justice? So, and also giving more confidence to the victims. So, this, criminals will be held accountable for their actions.
Yes. Well, yes, please know that the DA's office does have a dedicated hate crimes unit, and it's for all communities in Brooklyn. But recently, especially over since this year, there have been more resources tasked specifically to our Asian community. because of the increased violence that has occurred, since January, and with the new administration coming aboard and all of the kind of unfortunate results of some actions pertaining to bad actors around that. So yes, the DA's office is committed to ensuring the safety of our Asian community, and definitely has tasked more resources. But please know that he also works in conjunction with other law enforcement agencies in the city as well as in the state. And I do know that that they do have a team composed of what I would call a task force. That's my word on it. That is devoted to addressing these issues and ensuring better protection of our Asian communities as well as other communities against hate crimes and other acts of violence as we move forward in the future.
Great, thank you. Yes, definitely want to see more actions from prosecutors.
Yes, and I would ask you if you could follow up, with your concerns with me, and I'll give you my email address. It's if you can, and it's watkinsj@brooklynda.org. That's WATKINSJ@brooklynda.org. And I'll give you my phone number as well. My office phone is 718-250-2785. And if you could just write a brief note or memo pertaining to your concerns and what you've addressed with me this evening, and I'll be sure to directly forward that to the DA himself personally.
I'm sorry, can you repeat your office number one more time? Sorry.
Yes, yes, it's 718-250-2785.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, John.
Yeah, and as I'm in the field and actually working partly remotely, please leave a message, and actually should ring remotely to my mobile phone as well.
Okay, wonderful. Great. Thank you, John.
John,
thank you very much.
I should have made you a panelist. I'm going to make you a panelist now so you can show your face so we can see how friendly you are and everybody can recognize you.
John, stand by for 1 second. I think there's one more question for you. Christina, do you have a question for John?
I do.
Okay.
Can you actually define resources? Because it's such a broad word. And I mean, for one thing, translation issues are one of the biggest problems. And is the DA's office actually putting resources towards that? So I just want to hear some more specifics on what resources are.
John, you may be muted.
Do we still have John?
Oh, all right. Okay, actually, I found the button for the picture, for the video. The specifics that I can tell you is that there is a dedicated hate crimes unit that is in the DA's office, and it has been buttressed, especially in recent times, with the increased violence against not only the Asian community, but other communities as well, and especially and significantly those here in Sunset Park, where I live. I know that there have been incidents against our Hasidic community as well. And so the resources are focused on addressing these hate crimes, and they include the prosecution, first of all, the investigation of the crimes, and especially, which is very, very important, that the community reports those crimes to the NYPD, who would then find the bad actors and arrest them. And then with the DA that would, and his ADAs would prosecute those offenders in court appropriately. And so and that's just with our agency, but there are multiple agencies. And I do know that overall, especially with this severe uptick in hate crimes against the Asian community in particular, that more and more of the law enforcement agencies in the New York City metro area have been tasked to this. And just the other day, unfortunately, with the incident in Georgia, I do know that there were resources from the NYPD that were committed to various areas to protect various Asian communities against any violence that might happen afterwards.
I guess I was actually also asking about translators and people who can speak the language, because that's just so critical. I know in San Francisco.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is. And we do have translators. I can't tell you exactly how many, but I gave my contact information. And I know that we do, especially now with COVID, it might have been adjusted somewhat, but we do have office hours, and we encourage people pre-COVID to come into our office to meet directly with our ADAs. And we do have translators for multiple languages, including Mandarin, here in our office in New York, that can be arranged, especially to take interviews and so forth. So that is available. And again, I would encourage you to, with your concerns and what we've addressed here, so that it really makes a difference when I can go to the DA and, and show the concerns that the community is having, by the correspondences that they are sending to me. But I do know that he and his team are actively involved in really making sure that, especially in these times with these rises in hate crimes against the Asian communities as well as others, that the community is being protected by the agency.
Okay, I'm going to follow up with you. So thank you.
Please do. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thank you, everyone. Okay.
I have Sherman Jackson next.
Okay, Sherman, floor is yours.
Hello, folks. How are you? I've missed you all. Forgive me for having missed a few meetings. There were some medical issues I needed to tend to. To speak directly to the previous issue, just today, in response to the massacre in Atlanta, Borough President Derek Adams committed an additional $10,000 to an initiative that he'd started some time ago, Operation Safe Shopper, a pioneering program that his office spearheaded to deploy security cameras outside of local businesses to help the NYPD during its investigations of local crimes and to protect small businesses and individuals in Asian communities. Beyond that, which I think is a significant issue, given the tragedies that we're all so concerned about, there are other things that have been going on over the past month. What I would like to do, however, is simply touch on them and then send these talking points along to Jeremy, so that in case anybody is interested in pursuing any of these items, that they can then click onto the links, because I don't want and don't think that any of you would care for me to sit here and read off each and every of these links. So dating back to February 21st, the New Agrarian Economy was a report issued by the Borough President's Office that outlines several areas where the city can work in concert with advocates and industry leaders to expand urban agricultural opportunities. Beyond that, civic engagement. You marched, now what? Over the past year, Brooklyn and the US have seen more protests that have been witnessed in decades. Thus, on February 24th, Borough Hall held a virtual event moderated by Michael Muir, a fellow of My Brother's Keeper, on how people can safely take the next steps in their civic engagement journey. Then Wellness Wednesdays are back. Today's the 17th. Today, as a matter of fact, there is a workshop on health, brain, aging, and tomorrow on the 24th, dementia and raw presentation, understanding dementia on March 31st. Jeremy, I'll send all of these links to you so that if any members of the board and or of the public are interested in pursuing these, that they could have those links.
Thank you.
Just last week on March 3rd, or a week and a half ago, I participated along with the head of the policy unit in a Know Your Rights Spanish language forum, where we discussed recent federal policy, Know Your Rights with ICE, accessing legal services, COVID-19 resources, New York State driver's license issues, et cetera. So we have an upcoming meeting of the Renewable Sustainable Task Force, but that I will send along to Jeremy along with the link so that anybody who is interested can then pursue it. Lastly, Borough President Adams has sought transparency in racial and ethnic makeup of vaccine recipients. We have called on the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene to provide those stats. Just as a personal aside, I just want to call to everyone's attention that I personally saw in the Washington Post 2 days ago a report by the National COVID Tracking System that Latino young people, that's to say teenagers to about age 30, are the most susceptible to COVID. And that's something that we're going to take a closer look at. And I encourage everyone to also look at it because beyond the African-American issue, Latinos are also suffering from COVID-19 and a lack of vaccines. But now it appears that younger Latinos are most affected. So I'll send all of these along to Jeremy. Anyone interested in pursuing any of these various issues, you'll have the links so that you could view them. And I appreciate seeing everyone once again.
Thank you, Sherman. It's good to see you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, Sherman, I have a quick question. In regarding to your operation, Borough President giving 10,000, additional $10,000 to it. So to help the business owner to combat the crime, right? So where the location, can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah, I don't know that they've specifically targeted any particular businesses. I can get that information for you. Just email me at sherman.jackson@brooklynbpnyc.com. Or I'll give you my cell number as well. It's 917-751-7839. However, allow me to tell you that in addition to the $10,000 that the borough president has anteed up, he's also calling on the city council to add additional funding to this initiative.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Okay, Jeremy, who's next?
Next is a representative from Brad Lander's office, Ms. Siddiqui.
Fazia Siddiqui. Thank you, Natasha.
Hi, folks. This is Fazia from Councilmember Lander's office. I'm going to keep this quick. So as you all may know now, vaccine eligibility is expanding every day. And as of today, 80% of adult New Yorkers are eligible to receive the vaccine. So I would really encourage everyone to check the city's website and to check if you are now eligible. We've been getting a lot of folks who didn't even know they were eligible, just discovering it this week or last week. So I'm going to drop that link in the chat. And some other updates. Last night we had, in partnership with our colleagues at the Neighbor Network, we held a phone banking to reach out to seniors in the neighborhood using the VAN database. We were able to reach out. We were able to make about 1,000 calls last night, and a lot of these folks, we're going to help them get vaccine appointments in the coming weeks. And also, if anybody or if you yourself need help making an appointment, please reach out to our office. I will also put my email address in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you. I have Eli Slavin again. Next, I'm sorry.
Good evening, everybody. We're speaking about the hate against the Asian community. I mean, I was privileged to partake in the march Sunday, and I think that was very impressive. Good to see Caesar in the flesh. And also, I think it was Jimmy was the one who organized the march. Okay, thank you for having me. And it was a nice showing, a very strong showing, and I reported to the Congresswoman of the issues. Our office is very busy with immigration issues, stimulus, federal, mostly federal, of course, stimulus. Also, I want to let you know that as many of you know, the H1 voting was passed in the Congress, which I'll go very quickly, expands automatic voter registration, strengthening voter by mail, early voting, combating voter intimidation and voter suppression. Also, the HR 1280, the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, forbidding federal, state, and local enforcement from racial, religious, and discrimination profiling, mandates training on racial, religious, and discrimination profiling for all law enforcement, save lives by banning chokeholds and no-knocks warrants. So this is stuff that most of the community already knows about. What I'm going to do going further is there's a lot going on in DC. And I don't want to just take up much of your time, but what I will try to do is have on a monthly basis, have our office compose a short version of what's going on and then send it to the board so they can post it. And then at the meeting, if anybody has any questions that for me, I'll be more than happy to take the questions. If I have the answer, fine. If not, I will get back to you with an answer. That's about it. I thank you for having me, and everybody stay safe.
Thank you. Okay, who's next?
Thank you. I have Nancy Corona next.
Hi, Nancy, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, I'm outside. I just have very quick updates. Our office is carrying out its participatory budget process. More information on that will be forthcoming, and it'll be shared with CB7, specifically what the projects are on the ballot. And voting for projects will take place the week of April 5th through 14th. I will share the email addresses of the staff who you can reach out to for more questions about PB. The second update is the People's Market run by South Brooklyn Mutual Aid takes place in our office from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Sundays. What they do is they provide clothing, books, toys, and some small household essentials. Appointments aren't required. Constituents can walk in, neighbors can walk in. They are crowd controlling, obviously, because we can't have too many people in the office. And to that point, the district office isn't physically open just yet, but to the public, but staff are available remotely Monday through Friday, and our business hours are 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. What's the best way to add information? There's no clear chat functions. Should it just be on a Q&A?
Please put it on the Q&A. Unfortunately, we had to remove chat because it's gotten hijacked before.
No worries. So I'll go ahead and add the email addresses and our contact information there. But I'll stick around if anybody has any further questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Who's next, Jeremy?
I don't have anybody else on the list. It's always possible I missed somebody. So if I missed one of our elected reps, please just raise your hand right now. I see no other hands up.
Okay, thank you, everyone. So let's move to the next item on the agenda, which is the district manager's report.
Perfect timing, because it sounds like my dog outside is now barking at my neighbor. So I might have to jump out of here very quick. I'm surprised nobody else has brought up yesterday, the City Council Zoning Committee voted to approve the 737 4th Avenue rezoning. So now we'll move to the full council for a vote. We had earlier in the month sent an invitation to all of our board members and beyond about the CBA presentation by Totem, which I attended, and we sent the 4-language CBA community of benefits agreements to the entire board list, and we posted it on social media. On March 8th, I met with Francini Vasquez from the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce because the chamber is trying to focus on small businesses in Sunset Park and their recovery. They have a specific outreach to the local businesses, and they'd like to help us promote it. And I've reached out to our committee chair to see if he'd be interested in setting up a meeting on that. In any event, we will make sure that we get that information out at the very least through our social media and email. I also met with an NYU study group who is meeting with a number of community board district managers because they are looking to create a subterranean infrastructure map, which is actually a surprise doesn't exist for New York City, which would be a tool for those who need to see what's happening below, which includes developers and also the city agencies. But I spoke to them. What I think would be most interesting for us is if they could list the age of that infrastructure. So we could show that the age of, for example, our sewer system is older than that of other communities. I think that would be very helpful for the local community and for us making arguments. On February 18th, Cesar and I attended a meeting with Kathy Hopkins from the NYU Family Health Center, and they are seeking to respond to a city RFP to provide additional daycare services. And they talked about their programs, of course, but they are looking potentially for sites in the community, perhaps for additional daycare programming. I met also the same day with NYSERDA, which was essentially the same presentation that Equinor gave us back in January about the wind farm proposed for the South Brooklyn Marine Terminal. Liquor licenses, since our last meeting, there have been 13 new and renewal liquor licenses, and then finally the police department's badges are available. And Cesar, I don't see any hands up.
Okay, thank you, Jeremy. Appreciate that. And that takes us to our next report, which is the chairman's report. I'll be very brief. So just wanted to bring to your attention that we had planned to replace the very tattered flag that's currently above the community board office building. There was a miscommunication internally, and we are rescheduling that. So we will absolutely give everyone plenty of notice, and hopefully we can all take part in that flag replacement ceremony. We don't have a date as of yet. We're gonna meet with staff in the next couple of days and try to figure out something in the next several weeks. So stay tuned for that. Just quickly, I continue to meet as part of a work group with NYU related to the technological infrastructure that we have, or the lack thereof. I'll continue to ask all of you to provide. I think last month we talked about a specific solution that's very short term, and that's obviously not going to deal with the much broader, frankly, equity issue that we have with technology. But if you know of any landlords, or if you're a landlord and are willing to allow access to your roof to continue to install some of the expander Wi-Fi expander technology, that would be super helpful. The one solution that's being worked on, as I mentioned last week, is with a company called NYC Mesh. The folks continue to look for available locations throughout the district, preferably tall buildings, and preferably buildings or homes that are on the hill. So anything 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th Avenue would be ideal. So please keep your eyes and ears open and continue to spread the word on that. And I'll have, I believe Jeremy or staff sent out an email last time around with the website. I'll continue to do that so people have it. And I would also ask folks to keep in mind identifying space for these pre-K classrooms. We're trying to help NYU with identifying suitable locations. If you have specific questions about that, get in touch with Jeremy or myself, because there are very specific requirements for the construction of early childhood classrooms. But if people know of any suitable locations within the district, particularly in the 11220 zip code, that would be super helpful. And then finally, I've been getting lots of requests from several different stakeholders, but specifically our Asian neighbors and community members, around what can we do as a board to stand in solidarity and to also address some of the violence and some of the hate that we're seeing, not just in this district, but across the country. I know Paul Mack is interested in convening the Asian Affairs Committee. And my suggestion would be to do that sooner than later. So Paul absolutely will touch base after the meeting and figure out a suitable time. What I'd like to propose, and not just with this issue related to our Asian community, is that we think about doing it in conjunction with another committee, possibly the Public Safety Committee. I think there's some intersectionality with the issue, and so I think what I'd like to see is maybe Cynthia, Felix sort of joining in this conversation as well. I just want to quickly go back to the issue that Karen Rolnick raised around the homelessness issue. I think there's some intersectionality there, and I would love to see perhaps as we continue to move forward and meet on this issue, that we do it in collaboration with other committees, possibly again the public safety, because of all of the public safety and quality of life issues, but also the housing committee. I think that's another committee that can really turn people out and contribute to figuring out some of the solutions as we go forward. So with that, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to reach out to the various chairs individually in the next couple of days so we can get these things on the docket. Okay.
Sorry, Cesar, I have a comment. So I think one way to show like solidarity is to, like you can put a sticker, make a sticker to show, message, unity message, such stop Asian hate, and or you can put a window, put a sign on your window to show solidarity and to support the Asian American communities. And also the immigration committee would love also to be involved, because I think it is an important issue that will impact every aspect of the community. So definitely I think property safety and all communities who are interested be part of this like a campaign to against hate and racism. I think should be invited to this. And also we should also include the I know Cynthia is not here today, but the ability and there are all other committees who are related should also be invited, to be part of this. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, Jimmy. No question. And yeah, definitely, if you're available and interested, I would love to. I think your committee makes a lot of sense to be part of this. So again, let's talk offline. But I just kind of wanted to put that out there and make sure that to the extent possible that we all converge around having these really important conversations as we move forward. So absolutely, thank you. So that's it for me. Let's go to old business.
I see no hands for old business.
Okay, let's go to new business. Yes, Justin, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. I just have a very quick comment. Just want to share a resource. I know folks have been talking about the vaccination efforts around COVID, and I just want to call the folks' attention, if you're not already aware, but the city's NYC Vaccine for All Corps is hiring. They're going to be hiring up to 2,000 people. You don't need a healthcare background. So they're hiring for folks who, not just for clinical jobs, they are hiring for clinical jobs, but they're also hiring for operations, facilities, customer service. And I know a lot of folks right now, because the economy are looking for work. So that's a potentially, really good resource. I don't know how long-term any of these positions are, but for now, they're jobs. And it looks like it's being coordinated through SBS. So you can go onto SBS's site onto their careers page, and you can go on for an online screening there. If you have any other questions, reach out to me. You can find me on LinkedIn. I've shared the link there. But yeah, it could be a resource for folks in the community who may be looking for work. So just wanted to share that.
Okay, thank you, Justin. Really important resource. Okay, continue new business. Grisel?
Hi. I just want to say thank you very much today, especially to Paul Mark and the Brooklyn Chinese Organization, to Paul Mark, to Rachel. They've been so excellent with United Senior Center of Sunset Park. They have been providing the vaccine like they promised in the last board meeting. Believe me, they did everything excellent. Tomorrow, we're going to have our third group of seniors going there to the Brooklyn Navy Yard. Always, I go tomorrow, I will send on a staff, but the staff always there. Department for the Aging, did very good cooperation because, they agreed that we work together in conjunction. Paul Mark, thank you. Rachel, thank you. Thank you to Community Board 7. My seniors, they have the vaccine, and also I have my vaccine. Thank you again. Thank you. I just want to say thank you. Thank you.
Gracias, Grisel. And yeah, I mean, it totally slipped my mind. Absolutely big shout out and thanks to Paul Mack for his generous contribution. And thank you, Paul. That's super meaningful. And it sounds like Grisel and her folks have been really taking you up on it. So that's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. Also, Department for the Aging. Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Other new business, Catherine Walsh.
Yes, I just wanted to say that you announced this a couple of months ago about a special subcommittee that we were forming on these last mile trucking facilities and the rise of them in our district. And we of course know our neighboring district in Red Hook is also dealing with these. We have a date. So this kickoff meeting will be Tuesday, April 27th at 6. Details to follow with an agenda. A lot of thanks to the CB7 team to get this set up and organized, and again, like forthcoming, and really looking forward to having all of you involved in that committee. Thanks.
Thank you for your work on this, Catherine. Okay, that's any other new business before we move on to the second public comment? Okay, hearing none and seeing none, we're gonna go to public comment number 2. Jeremy, do we have any folks?
I have one hand up so far. Members of the public, please use the raise hand function and we will call on you in the order that you raise your hand. Teresa Colon, you have been very patient. You can unmute yourself and you are the next one to speak. Teresa?
Hi.
Yep, we can hear you.
Yes, I would like to know when this meeting will occur regarding the homeless situation. Like I said before, 4th Avenue has become Skid Row. We are overwhelmed with homeless shelters. I dread the summer coming up. So please let us know, update us on what's going to happen with these meetings so we can speak up with the Department of Homeless Services and hopefully the mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. And just make sure that you have given your contact information, your email address to the staff, so that when we do schedule these meetings, we'll absolutely notify you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other?
I have John Santori next. John, you can unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you very much. I just had a brief couple comments here. I just wanted to thank the members of the board for doing so much work on so many different issues. Anytime I attend an issue, anytime I attend a meeting, I'm reminded of how many different issues are confronting the community at any particular time. And I would also like to thank members of the board who did work on the 737 4th Avenue rezoning. Their opinions and their contributions are extremely valuable. The same thing with the nonprofits that were involved in the CBA, that's extremely valuable. My own concerns about that were surrounding what information was shared, when it was shared, and what might have been left out of that conversation. I just have my own opinions on that, and I'd be very eager to learn more about how that deal came together and how there was engagement with the public. So I know the councilman yesterday in his remarks to the city council called for a more public conversation about how this deal came together. And I would love to help with that. And I would also love to help sort of document the timeline of how Totem engaged the public and how what that engagement consisted of, so that it can potentially serve as a model going forward. I mean, I think the bigger question here is, how can Sunset Park build more housing in addition to preserving the existing housing stock? How can Sunset Park build more housing? And a big part of that is, where can housing go? How much does housing cost? How can it be financed? And the more information we have in the public domain about those questions, I think the better. And along those lines, I would just encourage the board to apply that same scrutiny to so many other big projects. The Made in New York campus, I'll keep bringing it up to the waterfront committee. But again, on the Steiner Studios deal, I think there are many questions to be asked. There are questions that are not meant to derail the deal, but I think are meant to bring transparency and accountability to such a large project about who is most likely to benefit and what the track record is of the participants. The Made in New York North campus, it's my personal feeling, and I'll be making this argument to the waterfront committee, that an RFP should not go forward on that without significant community involvement. That's a $218 million project. And I think this board and this community should have a lot of say about what happens with that campus. The Sunset Park Task Force, I know that the board sent a letter to EDC and SBIDC asking for a public meeting about task force reforms, and I hope we can follow up with that. Job statistics for Brooklyn Army Terminal, I think all of those should be presented to the board on a regular basis. I'm so glad to hear that the subcommittee on trucking is going to meet soon. And SBMT, there are questions around SBMT too. So I would love to help with all of these investigations. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, John. Next.
Folks, John's old hand at this, so I'm not being rude to him when you see me hold up my clock. Everybody gets 3 minutes. I have Samantha Adler next.
Okay, Samantha.
Samantha, you can unmute yourself.
Hi, yeah, Sam and I are wondering about the approval process for getting city bikes in neighborhoods. We were shocked to discover the other day that there's a 30-bike city bike installation just right on the corner of our street. We had no idea it was coming. We lost 5 very valuable parking spaces. Just wanted to know more about that. Sam,
Yeah, I think we were just looking for more information about the approval process, because we know that city bike usage is going way down during the pandemic and car ownership in the neighborhood is going way up. And so we just know that how essential parking is going to be coming up, and we're looking for how to be part of that conversation. And there's just seemed to be no notification about it happening. And so, yeah, I think we're looking for more information. It just seems to be frustrating because it's popping up everywhere without notice. So thank you.
Okay.
So I'd invite you to contact the community board tomorrow, either by email or phone. I'd be happy to speak to you about that. Please know, and our board members already know this, community boards are not part of the approval process for that. However, I'm happy to talk to you about what's going on your block.
Thank you so much.
Jeremy, can you give out the email address?
Absolutely. So the best way at this point to contact us would be through our email, which is BK, like Burger King, 07 @cb, like community board, .nyc.gov. I will say that again, BK07 @cb.nyc.gov.
And folks, just make sure that in the subject you put city bike and the street that you're on, so that we can flag it and engage with you as soon as possible. Thank you.
I have Teresa Colon with her hand up again.
Okay, Teresa.
You can unmute yourself now.
Cancel.
Okay.
Cancel.
Okay, thank you, Teresa. Okay, Natasha Cordero, you have your hand up?
That may have been an error.
Okay, no problem. Are there any other members of the public who wish to speak?
I don't see any additional hands up.
Okay.
Wait, no, Jeremy, there's a list. The Google Doc, there's a list of people there.
Oh, okay.
Who
I'm
signed
sorry.
up. That's what I was trying to tell you.
Oh, okay.
For public comment.
All right, let's call them.
All right, let me get to that. Okay. Jocelyn Suriel, is she here? I didn't see her before. No. Okay. Nick Schmidt. Don't see him. Okay, Juan Romero. Juan, you could unmute yourself now.
Wanted to share a bit of resources for the community. I'm here on behalf of the Workers' Justice Project. We actually have been in the neighborhood for about a year at 4112 4th Avenue in Sunset Park, and we're just offering free OSHA and SST classes to community members. So if anybody is interested in joining the construction industry, that's a requirement now in New York City, and we're offering those classes for free to the community. We also have a food pantry for folks who are in need, Mondays 4 to 6 p.m. I can also share my number. We also run a community hiring hall for workers in the construction industry. So if any employers are also looking for workers, or workers looking for connecting to employers, we're also supporting workers that way. Our number is 718-600-0425, and I will share that in the Q&A comment section. I just thank you everybody for allowing me to speak.
Gracias, Juan. Okay, and who's next, Jeremy?
So Teresa, I'm guessing your hand is up by mistake again. I'm gonna allow you to talk. You can unmute.
Cancel. That's my computer, sorry.
No problem. There's something in Q&A, and that's Teresa saying cancel. So I believe we're at the end of our list.
Okay, great. So having seen no other members of the public, I want to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe, and we'll see each other next month, and some of us sooner than that. Have a good night.
Good night, everyone. Stay safe.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Bye.